engine bay is probably the cleanest part of this car. The rest of it does look like a skip. Guys, MOT certificate. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here again with our E30 BMW M3 Convertible barn find. Still not been cleaned, as you can see. In the last episode, we managed to get it running. Now, if you've not watched the last episode, there's a link in the description below. Make sure you give that a watch. Probably wasn't as much of a challenge as we thought, but she runs beautifully now. In fact, the car was parked opposite, jumped in, and it started on the button. Now, in today's episode, there's a few bits and pieces we need to do before we take it for MOT. Now, before I get into the car, I think we need to bring Jay onto the channel. Jay.
What's up?
You saying?
You good?
We're all good. Now, Jay and Aman managed to get this car running in the last episode. Was it as much of a challenge as you anticipated? What did you do? Can you recall?
It wasn't much of a challenge, luckily. It could have been. So it ended up just being a terminal on the fuel pump at the underside of the car. Because the car has been stood for a while, we've done it, give it a full service, plugs, fluids, we had belts, we've done all those, and a few sensors and bits and pieces.
Did we change the fuel pump in the end?
Yeah, I've changed it all out. So fuel pump, filters, fuel filters, everything. We just changed it.
As you can see, guys, there is the iconic S14 M3 lump. And even though this car hasn't been driven properly in best part of now nearly 2 years, 18 months, 2 years, the engine bay is probably the cleanest part of this car. The rest of it does look like a skip. Now, Jay, so I've got it booked in for an MOT.
Yes.
So before we do that, can you just go over the car, give it a good once over, everything that you know that is required for it to pass an MOT. Check the tires.
Yep.
There are new number plates here.
Okay, great.
Number plate man, if you pop the new plates on. And I know it's not required for the MOT, but can you see if you can get the roof to function? I think it's disconnected, the motors are disconnected.
Yeah, the motors were dropped out. I will check the powers and engage them back in and see what happens, really.
Right.
But yeah, that's it. The rear screen may crack though, but it's cracked.
Oh, I can live with that, I can live with that. It's not like I'm gonna be driving it around, to be fair.
Fair
Although I will take it for a quick blast before I take it for MOT, because it's been sitting around for a while.
Yeah,
the emissions are gonna be
nice
way off.
too.
So, Jay, keys,
Nice one.
car, number plate, it's all yours.
Wicked.
I'll
Nice
see you in a
one.
while.
Cool.
So guys, this is my first actual proper drive on the roads in the barn find. Now, unfortunately, Jay has gone on holiday and I've not had an opportunity to catch up with him just to check if there's any major concerns or areas that I need to worry about for the MOT. The MOT is actually booked in for this morning. I'm hoping that it passes. Now, the biggest concern is emissions. This car's not been driven on the road for, I'm gonna guess 20 months, 22 months maybe. So I've decided just to give it a quick blast up the A312, which is literally on our doorstep, just to ensure that it passes emissions and get rid of any crap, any dirt that's either sitting in the exhaust or sitting in the engine because the car's not been driven. The heating does work, however, I'm very reluctant to turn it on because there's still so much dust sitting inside those air vents. And the last time I did that, I ate dust for about an hour and it was nasty. So I don't want to do that. So, right, let's give it one quick blip down the A312 here. Get some power down. It seems to be running exceptionally well. Obviously not as fast as modern day cars, but as E30 M3 goes, pretty lively to be fair. Guys, MOT certificate, but guess what? It's failed. Let's go and grab the car. It's parked up in their car park, and I'll explain to you why the barn find has failed its MOT. So guys, as I said, the barn find has failed its MOT, but it's nothing too major. So, come here. It's failed because of the anti-roll bar linkage. So apparently the near side anti-roll bar is brand new. So that was replaced by the previous owner, but he didn't replace the offside. There's also 4 advisories here. There's a little bit of an oil leak from the engine. There's a little bit of an oil leak from the gearbox. The center exhaust shield is slightly insecure, minor. We can obviously just retighten that if it needs some clips or Jubilee clips or whatever it is, we could sort that out. And one of the tires is very close to the legal limit. So the major area of concern is the anti-roll bar linkage. I've asked Mr. Clutch just to order me one, just keep it easy and simple. So I'm hoping that arrives either later today or tomorrow morning, and then we'll bring it back and put it through for an MOT again, and fingers crossed it passes this time. So for now, guys, it is a fail, so I can't legally drive this car on the road, so I'm going to park it back up in our warehouse, and we'll pull it back out when the parts arrive. So, back shortly. So guys, it is the next day, and I have a fresh MOT on the barn find. So the car failed its MOT on one major issue, and that was the anti-roll bar linkage ball joint dust cover. Whatever that is, I have no idea. That's now been replaced. Mr. Clutch ordered the replacement cover or whatever it is, and first thing this morning put it through for a fresh MOT. The 4 advisories are still on the MOT. So there's an oil leak from the engine, there's an oil leak from the gearbox, one of the tires is close to the illegal limit. It's legal, but it's not illegal, obviously, because if it was, it wouldn't have passed the MOT. And I think there's an issue with an exhaust shield, which is a little bit loose. Now, the exhaust shield being a little bit loose, we will rectify. The tires, we're going to look at those. We might replace all of those anyway. As for the oil leaks, not so sure what we're going to do with those at this moment in time. But the most important thing, I've got a fresh MOT. I've taxed the car this morning. It was already insured, and I've now registered the vehicle for a ULEZ auto pay. So it's 100% legal to be driving on British roads. Gotta say, the car drives fairly well. It is an old car, we do know that. It pulls nicely. The engine's got some poke, but I can feel it's lacking a little bit of power. That could potentially be from where it's not been used. So the plan is to just give it a nice run this morning. Squeaky clutch pedal and brake pedal. So yes guys, the car is officially legal to be on the road. Now for some of you subscribers that are following us from outside of the UK, maybe in Europe, South Africa, America and Canada, you're probably wondering what is an MOT. MOT stands for Ministry of Transport, and here in the UK, any car which is older than 3 years and up to 40 years old has to have an annual test to check for numerous items on the car, such as brakes, tires, lights, wipers and so on. It doesn't check for gearbox and engine, but obviously does advise if there are any oil leaks and so on. So that needs to be done every year. I think if your car's older than 40 years, it's considered classic status, so you don't actually need an MOT carried out every year. You could do it every second or third year if you wanted to. So next up for this car will be a clean, and it needs a proper deep clean. We have not touched it since we purchased the car. The cobwebs are still on there. The car still has moss on the external part of the roof. Inside there are still cobwebs. There are probably spiders living inside the car. So next up will be a trip to our friends over at Maguire's, who will detail the car, so it will go in their bay. Now, how long it takes to clean, I'm not sure. It may take longer than a day, might be 2 days, because we want to try and clean not just the external part of the car, we want to clean the inside as well, and maybe just give that engine bay a bit of a spruce as well. So we'll book a date with Maguire's, get the car dropped off to them, and then from there we'll tell you the next steps. So guys, let me know what you think of our barn find. It's different content to what we normally bring to the channel because we are all about modifying cars, but it's kind of quite nice to resurrect a car that was dying. So guys, make sure you smash the like button, and obviously make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get even more updates on the barn find and some of our other projects as well. See you guys, smash the like button, and I will see you again on another episode, be it on Cash TV or on Raji's Garage. Just to show you guys, here is the path certificate. Hopefully you can read that.